What's the difference between stiff leg deadlifts and Romanian deadlifts is a question that I've been asked about a million times by clients now. And unfortunately, for a very long time, I gave them an answer that I thought was correct, but it was not correct. Because I told them that there's no difference. Call it a Romanian deadlift, call it an RDL, call it an SLDL, call it a stiff leg deadlift. It's just the same thing. But it turns out there is a key difference that I was not taking into consideration, I was not taking into account. So this video, I'm going to tell you what it is. It's not some fancy thing with your butt angle in relation to your torso, some weird knee bend thing, the direction of your knees towards your big toe, the flexion of your back. Both lifts, you've got your back arched. Both lifts, you've got your chest up. Both lifts, you're keeping your legs straight and your knees soft locked. Both lifts, you are slowly coming down to get a nice big huge stretch on the hamstring. You are pausing gently at the bottom and then driving back up by pushing your hips forward. Both lifts, you're keeping the bar nice and close to your body to get that big hamstring stretch. But the difference is this. I'm going to show you 2 clips and you can tell me if you notice the difference. So there it is, that's the difference. Stiff leg deadlifts, you start from the floor and reps start being counted from the floor. Romanian deadlifts, you start from a rack and reps start being counted from the top. That's literally it. Mind blown. There's no way it can be that simple, but it is. So there's basically no difference between them, but if you really want to get nerdy and you really want to get nuanced, there is some difference. There is some benefit to one that the other doesn't have and vice versa. So first let's talk about Romanian deadlifts, where you start from the rack, you start from the top of the lift. Because you are starting from the top, you begin with an eccentric. This basically means that your first rep is always going to be like the second rep of a set of deadlifts. You know how when you do a set of 5 on deadlifts, the first rep is like the hardest and then it actually gets a little bit easier, rep 2 or 3? Romanian deadlifts, you're getting that from rep number 1. This means that you might actually get an extra rep or 2 in a set that you wouldn't have if you were doing a stiff leg deadlift, because you are expending less energy on that first initial pull going up from ground zero. You're generating less fatigue getting that bar initially moving, and that can actually get you an extra couple reps. Those extra reps give you more eccentric loading volume on the hamstring, which we know they respond to hugely. So doing this could actually lead to more muscle growth than a stiff leg deadlift in the very, very long term, accumulating that volume over months of a training block. So when you look at it like that, RDLs starting from a rack could actually be the better option for bodybuilding. Also, for the same reason, they tend to be a little bit easier to put together technique-wise. It's very difficult to get yourself in the perfect RDL position from the bottom of the rep. Whereas if you can unrack, then arch your back, lift your chest, get everything tight, and then slowly enter the eccentric, it becomes a lot easier. And I've seen it countless times with clients. Starting from the rack, their technique is way better than starting from the floor. So that means that on the other hand, stiff leg deadlifts are nearly always much harder technique-wise. Getting yourself fully tight and braced in that already lengthened hamstring position, especially for guys who are usually stiff as shit in their hamstrings, that's really challenging. Also, because of that additional expenditure from the first rep, you might have to use less overall load. Less overall load means less tension on the hamstrings, so could mean less growth, but less load also means less fatigue, so you might be able to do more, so that probably balances itself out. However, because that first rep is off the ground, because it's so much harder than the second rep where you enter through an eccentric, it will probably have more carryover to conventional and sumo deadlifts. And that means that stiff leg deadlifts are probably very slightly the better option for a powerlifter. So essentially, stiff leg deadlifts likely the best option for powerlifters and accessory, and Romanian deadlifts probably the better option for bodybuilders. It's a very, very small difference. It's super nerdy, it's super nuanced, and most people don't need to know or need to care. But if you're interested, There you go. Thank you for watching. Show your support by leaving the channel a thumbs up. I think it really helps. Also drop me a comment and let me know what you thought of the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more content like this. Thank you as always for watching, and until next one, see you later guys.